Alright, that goes there. We got a crowd. Good. Hello and welcome to another Smaulgld live stream. It is Thursday, March 28th, 2019. Tonight's topic, the gold-silver ratio, hit a 10-year high today after a gold-silver takedown. Welcome Smaulgld mug stackers and game changers. Sorry for the delay. Little technical difficulties prevented me from coming on at 7:30, and also we'll have an abbreviated show, not necessarily in time, but I wasn't able to get to all the news today due to the technical difficulties I had earlier in the day. So we're going to cover the gold-silver ratio, and then if there's any current events that you'd like to raise, we can talk about those in the comments afterwards. So we'll have a full show. I just won't have my normal stories of the day. We will go through the gold and silver prices, and we'll go through the cryptocurrencies as well. So let's get started on the gold and silver prices of the day. And as I mentioned in the headline, that the gold price went down then more than just a little bit. Gold finally lost its hold on 1300, fell to $12.90. That was down nearly $20, down $19.16, or almost 1.4, so almost 1.5%. In the after hours, it's about where gold is right now at $12.90.80, about 20 cents. So gold was down 1.46%, and silver was down. Again, we do this every night. When gold goes down, silver goes down more. And when gold goes up, silver generally doesn't go up more unless it's on a multi-day streak, and then silver starts to move up higher. But the silver price today was, remember, gold was down 1.46% and silver was down 1.7%. You can almost count on it. Silver managed to claw back above $15. It was down below as low as $14.96. Currently is at $15.01, but that's down 26 cents. And what did that do for the unsustainable, out of whack gold-silver ratio? Well, you can guess what happened. It rose, and it rose at one point to 86.3 to 1. It is now at more than a 10-year high. You got to go back to 2008. Oh, and we had an unsubscribed. I don't know if the channel can take it, but there was a guy. This guy, he commented last night. He finally had enough. His name is Jan Ski. I am tired of hearing you bang on about the unsustainable gold-silver ratio. As you say, you've been talking about it for years. I am unsubscribing. Yes, he's tired of hearing that the gold-silver ratio is unsustainable. He'd rather hear the gold-silver ratio is going to 16 to 1. It's going to 15 to 1. It's going to 9 to 1 because it comes out of the ground at a 9 to 1 ratio. Or it's going down to 1 to 1 because silver is rarer than gold. He wants to hear that for sure. He doesn't want to hear, maybe the gold-silver ratio is where it should be, and for some rational reasons. There were some responses to this, and one of them mine. Uh-oh, the channel will never recover. We lost Jan Ski last night. He doesn't want to hear about the unsustainable gold-silver ratio, and I'm sure he doesn't like to hear about game over and game changer either. Bye-bye, Jan. Sorry. And Mark Battaglia joined in. Jansky, you're tired of hearing him talking about things that are actual facts? LOL. Lol. You don't know that what he says is true. If you'd rather hear it's going to 10 to 1 for years by the pumpers and liars, then I guess the idiot here is you. Smiley face. Smiley face. Bailonomics says, better to hear the pumpers banging on about the unsustainable gold-silver ratio. You are proving the point of this channel. Yes, indeed. Bye-bye, Jan. We're going to continue to discuss the unsustainable gold-silver ratio. And we've got some charts we're going to show you today, not just on the gold-silver ratio. We're going to take a look at the COMEX silver, the COMEX warehouses, long-term prices of silver, long-term gold-silver ratios, so we all get a full understanding of this, where we are today. Let us take a look now at how we got to this 10-year record. Now remember, last time I talked about the gold-silver ratio was on SGT report, and a lot of people were very angry. Indeed, there was a gentleman named Bix Weir, and he said, buy, gold-silver ratio should be 1 to 1, not 85 to 1. And indeed, the idea was I was clueless because I just didn't understand, because banks know that storing silver as a store of value would get immediately blown off the face of the planet. Reason is, silver is the keystone to running the unbacked monetary system. Lewis, you should know this, and you don't get it. Yep, somehow that analysis doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it, and I guess gold-silver ratio should be 1 to 1, and I went back and I looked. You know, he mentioned this once before. When was that? Oh, when the gold-silver ratio was 70 to 1. Bix Weir, buy 70 to 1. Think available above ground gold and silver is 68. I don't know what he's talking about, a 1 to 1 ratio. You can buy 70 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. You decide. And if you had decided to buy silver at 70 to 1, well, now it's 86 to 1 at a near record high. But the idea was in April of 2017, you were to buy. And now that it's 85 to 1, you should buy. It's always buy, and then, oh, let's not talk about silver for a while. It's time to talk about cryptocurrencies, and let's pump that instead. Well, it's not just silver ratio and cryptocurrencies. You got to remember, back in 2016, must listen, the economy is scheduled to collapse in the second half of this year. Well, that didn't happen. Well, let's just try again in 2017. The economic crisis will hit this summer. Banks will crash and currency won't exist in 2017. Then in 2018, it's all going down in the summer of 2018. Now, if you need a clear distinction between analysis and BS, because that's what that is, I think you've seen it. I don't think I need to mention this gentleman again. His own words discredit him. And then he has the nerve to say that I am clueless because banks know that storing silver as a store of value would get immediately blown off the face of the planet. Reason is, silver is the keystone to running the unbacked monetary system. Lewis, you should know this, but you don't get it. Yep, I don't get it. Never will. Now let's take a look at COMEX. You know, the whole JP Morgan is buying silver, hundreds of millions of ounces. Indeed, they have. Silver Eagles, and they bought Canadian Maple Leafs. Of course they did. Sure they did. Oh, but I saw it on YouTube. All right, we know all about that. Seeing something in print, I guess people believe it because they see it in print. They don't need to question it. They don't even to think about why JP Morgan would buy Silver Eagles. There's no evidence that they bought Silver Eagles or Maple Leafs. There's no rationale for an investment bank to buy Silver Eagles and hold them for 10 years and melt them down. It just makes no sense whatsoever. Not only does it make no sense, there's no evidence that they've done it. But you can't prove that it doesn't exist. It's the same thing with Russian collusion. They're never going to let it go. They're never going to tell you there's no JP Morgan silver. JP Morgan is buying silver. That is all I need to know. I am stacking the shiny because JP Morgan. Well, let's take a look at the COMEX vaults and JP Morgan's COMEX vault. Remember, the story goes, it's not just what's in the JP Morgan COMEX vault, which there's no direct evidence that it belongs to them, but they also have all this other silver somewhere. It's the same thing, the gold in the Grand Canyon or gold in the side of Chocolate Mountain, whatever these stories are, no evidence whatsoever. But anyway, JP Morgan has about 147 million ounces in its COMEX vault. Brinks has about almost 60 million ounces. They've really upped their game. This is the silver in investable form, the 1,000 ounce bars, 999 fine silver. HSBC has silver in COMEX vaults, COMEX approved. The Delaware Depository and Coins and Things, C&T also have. So, totally, this is getting to a point here. The COMEX vaults have 304 million ounces. Silver shortage. There is no silver. COMEX is going to default. Someone big is going to stand for delivery. I'm astonished at the amount of absolute nonsense that gets peddled in this space. So, what does that mean? There's no silver and someone's going to stand for delivery. Now, this is cognitive dissonance, or I don't know if that's the correct term, but you want to believe that JP Morgan has 150 million ounces of silver, which I believe their COMEX vault does. And that is eligible for trading. But at the same time, you want to believe there's no silver in the COMEX vaults, of which JP Morgan's vault holds 150 million of it. Somehow you want to believe that it's going to be game over and game changer because, I don't know, whatever reason is, China or someone's going to stand for delivery. Well, there's more than enough silver in the COMEX vaults. In fact, the coverage ratio, it looks like there's about 960 million ounces worth of contracts outstanding. And there's 300 plus million ounces in the vault, which means it's only a 3-to-1 ratio. And given that 95 to 99% of contracts don't stand for delivery, why? Because many of them are bullion dealers who are not interested in standing for delivery. They've actually sold their inventory short. So all they want to do is have a short position. The value of that contract is never going to be cashed in on. And those that are long, they're just going to roll those contracts over or cash them out for cash. They could cash them out for silver. But COMEX is in no danger of defaulting. But that's a story that'll pop up from time to time. They're trading on fumes. No, they're not trading on fumes. Then it's, you can't believe all that silver that they have in there. They don't have any. Oh, okay. So then JP Morgan doesn't have 150 million ounces. That's not true, but JP Morgan has silver. You can just see how they strive to hold the narrative no matter what. Oh, but but Trump had Russian dressing on his salad and he's Putin's puppet and I saw. They never give up. This is what happens when you're married to a narrative. You could see contradictory evidence all along, and the only thing they could tell you is you can't prove that Trump is not working for the Russians, and you can't prove that JP Morgan doesn't have 12 trillion ounces of silver, and you can't prove that COMEX isn't going to default. Okay, so that's where we are with that. But let's get back now to the gold-silver ratio. Remember, 70-to-1 in April 2017, gotta buy. And straight up since then. Look at the price when it's 70-to-1 there in the middle of 2017. And what happened? Yeah, well, we didn't hear about silver for about a year from that guy. And now, well, it's up high again. Maybe a safe bet to make a prediction and tell everybody to buy something. I don't know, is he an investment advisor? Are you going to tell you what to do? Puts a headline out, buy. I never tell you guys what to do. I only show you the details that I have, and I am open to seeing other information that can negate what I show. I'm open to updating whatever I show you. Well, that's the 5-year plan right there, gold-silver ratio. But better to be 10 years early than 1 day too late. Well, here's your 10-year chart. Very nice there. But I'm a shill, and I'm not speaking the truth. There was a guy in SGT report yesterday saying, doesn't matter. They were talking about my saying that the gold-silver ratio is where it is because it's kind of where it should be. Gold and silver are the same. Doesn't matter. Like they're interchangeable. Yeah, they were interchangeable when they were both part of the monetary system. They're not interchangeable today. And they're refusing to believe that, even though 70% of silver's demand is industrial. And only like 10% of it is investment demand, whereas gold's demand is nearly 50% investment. There's a huge difference there. Unbelievable, but there you go. There's your 10-year chart. And you can see it never went to 16 to 1. Even when silver did the big old spike, it went down to 31 to 1. Now, speaking of spikes, I just want to show you, you should savor those spikes because they don't happen very often in silver. There you go. They happened, well, it looks like 31 years apart. Happened in 1980, went to $50, and it went to $50 again in 2011. So I guess by this calculation, maybe by 2041, we might see $50. That is not a prediction. That is just pointing out that these spikes are few and far between. But no one wants to show you this. No one wants to tell you this. It's always silver set to skyrocket. Silver is so useful. They are finding new uses for it every day. We could not lead our lives without silver. Okay, for $15 an ounce, I guess you can. Now, what else do we have on our gold and silver? Well, let's take a look now at the gold-silver ratio to get to our record. Or not record, highest in over 10 years. And we might beat that. And we're going to have to go back 50 or 60 years if we somehow manage to eclipse the 89 to 1 ratio set in late 2008, as you can see on this chart. And if that happens, then you got to go all the way back even further. And there you go. But gotta buy. Buying opportunity. This is a gift from God because the gold-silver ratio should be 16 to 1. Now, if you look at this chart, what tells you, this goes back to 1999, what tells you that it should be 16 to 1 or 15 to 1? You know when the 15 to 1 gold-silver ratio was set? In 1792 by the U.S. government. Hasn't been 15 to 1, 16 to 1 over 100 years. It's unbelievable. That, I mean, well, it's better to be 100 years early than a day late. Yep, I suppose it would be, because if you can live 100 years from now, you'd be doing pretty well, I would say. And if you're still holding on to your silver, well, good for you. And again, I'm not against silver. What I'm against is people telling you stories that make absolutely no sense, insisting that they make sense, and then having the nerve to say, I don't understand what's going on. Because banks do not hold silver, because they know storing silver as a store of value would get immediately blown off the face of the planet. Reason is, silver is the keystone to running the unbacked monetary system. Lewis, you should know this, but he just doesn't get it, shaking my head. That passes as analysis. And then the people listening to that are going, yeah, you're right. You know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. All right. Sorry to bang on the table there, but I think that's it for telling you what I've seen recently in the gold silver. Oh, some nice news. At least it's nice for me, and I like to share good news with you. If you guys want to share some good news with me, your own good news, I got $5 worth of silver today. There it is, the APMEX silver. I didn't buy it. That's why I'm happy. I received this as a gift in the mail. It's a very nice gift with a very nice note. And I put it there right on my Smaulgld stationery. Took a picture of it. Actually, it looks like 5 ounces of gold. What I just banged, I'm holding on to it. I think this is great because it's like a paperweight. I don't have something like this. It's 5 ounces. I do want to thank the patron who sent this to me. It's very nice indeed to send it. And if you're so inclined to send things, there you go. There's your address, Smaulgld LLC, P.O. Box 714, Dover, New Hampshire, 03821. Or 820, doesn't matter. Or you can hold up your phone. If you've got your Bitcoin wallet or your Litecoin wallet, you can shoot Bitcoin and Litecoin to me. That's very kind, those people who do that. Or you can donate via Patreon or PayPal. And also, we do have our first Smaulgld Subscribe Star patron, or I guess they're a member now of the Smaulgld Mug Stacker Club. So that's another way of donating if you have an aversion to something like Patreon or PayPal. Although, well, I'll tell you this: when you subscribe to Scribestar, they don't use PayPal, so they're gonna have to send me a check, which is nice. So you don't have to work with these processors, or you can just save everyone the trouble. The thing which is good about this is it's monthly, so you get dinged monthly and you don't have to think about it. Or you can just remind yourself and donate that way. But I'm very appreciative for all the gifts and the support that I do get, and it does make it worthwhile. Let's do the cryptos, and then we're going to go to your comments, and I'm sure you've got news. Also, I think Trump is yammering on in Wisconsin, so if you want to see that, we'll get off and you can check him out, or you could just watch the replay. I think it's his first speech since the end of the Russian collusion case, or since the Mueller report was issued. Well, it wasn't really issued. The summary of the report was issued by Robert Mueller. All right, let's get into what do we got on. Okay, so Bitcoin flat. There's a lot. It could be calm before the storm, or it could be heading low. We talked about this the other night, that we have this eerie kind of, I guess, lack of volatility, which finally gold and silver broke to the downside. So we could be seeing the same thing with cryptos. It's generally what happens. You have a long period of relative lack of volatility, and then you get a break out to the upside or the downside. We saw a break down. Palladium also took another dive. It went from 1435 to 1294. It's at 1338 right now. But we had talked about this the other day. I think it was last night, about the palladium price taking a big beating. Right now, Bitcoin is flat at $4,015. Bcash is down 1% to $168. Ethereum is, Seamus McGee will tell you, is at $137.72. That's down 5.57%. Ethereum Classic at $470. Basic Attention Token BAT at 26 cents, up 15%. That one's been on a bit of a tear lately. And Litecoin down 1.12% at 60.44. All right, let's see what the Smaulgld game changers and mug stackers are telling us in the comment sections. If you're still there, if you hear me bang my new 5-ounce silver bar. All right, you got all the people talking. We've got the normal crew here. And where's Barry, Prashanti Girl, Coins AZ, Stephen McSweeney. Seems like he's a new guy. Corey Hillebo and Holloman, Pablo Pena. All right, Silver Stacker for Life. We have a new fan in Silver Stacker for Life. He loves silver, as many of you do here, but he does not love being told a pack of lies about silver. He likes silver for his own reason, and he says, I tell people on the Fearport channels that silver will never hit $1,000 an ounce, but it will go up maybe in 5 to 10 years. I try to tell them buying the dips when it goes down. Okay, see, now he's Silver Stacker for Life, but he's Silver Stacker for Life with, I guess, a reasonable outlook based on historical information. Now, just because the past was a certain way doesn't mean it's going to be a certain way in the future. Just because we've had spikes in the past and dives in the past doesn't mean that's going to happen. It's highly possible that silver can just go on a straight line up for the next 10 years. It's also possible because you go nowhere for 10 years. It's possible it could spike and then go back down again. Point is, no one knows, but these people, they tell you they know. They say, buy 70 to 1, buy 85 to 1. Wrong is what I say. Yeah, the dollar is up. Paul was making the point that today was, a lot of the reason for this was that the dollar index was higher. The dollar index right now, it's 97.14. I do want to mention, I think it was Tossing Molotovs. He was questioning, I guess, the narrative it wasn't really the narrative, it was the analysis I was putting forth, that with all this shale oil, that's not going to save the dollar. And I agree with him. Nothing's going to save the dollar. My point about the U.S. having all that shale oil now and being the world's largest shale oil producer and oil exporter was that if you needed a reason to hold dollars so you can buy oil from Saudi Arabia, because the petrodollar agreements require Saudi Arabia to price its oil only in dollars and only accept dollars, well, now you also would need the reason to hold dollars because you need to buy oil from the United States because it's now a larger oil exporter than Saudi Arabia. And now that both of them still require dollars, that provides some underpinning for the dollar. But my point all along was never that Saudi Arabia underpins the United States dollar. That petrodollar story is nonsense. It's outdated. Even if Saudi Arabia, I mean, buying oil from Saudi Arabia only takes up 7-8% of world trade. It's not like if Saudi Arabia were to take some other currency, it would crush the dollar. But my point is that if you do need, and because countries hold dollars in reserves far in excess of the amount that they need to buy oil. But if you want to go along with that bogus argument that the petrodollar's days are numbered, well, actually no, because the petrodollar is stronger than ever because Saudi Arabia is very tight with the United States now, especially since the United States nixed the Iran deal, and Saudi Arabia is against Iran, big enemies, different types of Islam, and the United States looked the other way in the Khashoggi deal, and the Saudi Arabians invest a lot of money in Silicon Valley, like things like Twitter, and the United States also is a major oil exporter, so the world needs dollars. Not just because they like them because they're the world reserve currency and they keep them as reserves and they use them in international transaction, but they also need them to buy oil from Saudi Arabia and the United States. Now, that doesn't mean that the United States doesn't have a debt problem. It does. No two ways about it. But too many people focus just on the United States having a debt problem, ignoring the fact that the world has a debt problem. China has a debt problem. No, China's going to crush the dollar. The BRICS have had it. Multipolar world. De-dollarization. No, China's got a massive debt problem and a massive need for dollars because they issue most of their debt to their state-owned enterprises and state-owned banks in dollars, so they need dollars. And they've got a lot of debt. ECB, $5 trillion in QE. They got a lot of debt. Bank of England, a lot of debt. Swiss National Bank now, printing money to buy stocks. Bank of Japan, a lot of debt. So the idea that somehow the dollar's days are numbered, no, the fiat currency global debt-based system is in trouble, but the dollar is the center of it. All the other ones go first. They're the ones who owe money, and they're the ones who owe it in dollars. So the United States dollar will have greater demand than the Turkish lira, than the Venezuelan bolivar, than any of these other currencies, and even more than the euro. All right. Silver stacker for life is not the nominal dollar value that's important. It's the purchasing power of silver that makes it a form of insurance. 143 Druid. That's somewhat true, but actually it's not really a good inflation hedge, nowhere near compared to gold. Because you've seen, if you bought silver and gold in 2011, you got your clock cleaned in silver and you'd still have some decent value in gold. I know, go back to 1964, same thing. Price of gold, 1964, $35 an ounce. Price of silver, $5 an ounce. Price of gold, far higher than $35 an ounce since 1964. The only thing that silver has done for inflation, the price of oil is pretty much consistent with the price of silver. So 30 cents worth of, you can buy a gallon of gas for 30 cents. 30 cents of silver, let's say 35 cents, quarter and a dime, 90% silver. Those are worth about a few dollars right now, so that's what the price of gas is right now. Yes, next the gold pumpers will be, gold silver ratio will be going to 0.00001 to 1, says coins -AZ. Stephen McSweeney, I wonder if today's dip is because of Basel III tomorrow hiding the big buys. No, it's got nothing to do with Basel III. Basel III has been known for 5 years. And it applies to commercial banks, not the central banks. Central banks have always marked their gold to market. And now, if commercial banks want to hold gold, they can. And they can market to market. And I would expect some of them will do. Oh no, BIC's in the mix. BIC's is okay. Ron Campbell, I'm more upset by the obviously unsustainable gold to dollar ratio. Still feeling a little road and put away wet from yesterday. Yeah, you know, Ron, the thing about gold, and maybe we'll do this tomorrow night, or maybe we'll cancel Saturday Night Silver and do Saturday Night Gold. Gold versus just about every other currency has gone up every year like 25 years, with a few exceptions. It's only because the dollar. Remember, right now, of all central banks, the Fed is not doing QE. They may start soon when they stop letting the balance sheet roll off. And the only one that has a positive rate of interest. That's why the dollar is higher. It's compared to all these other knucklehead currencies. ECB is doing QE, $5 trillion, buying corporate bonds. They got zero interest rates. Bank of England, pretty much zero interest rates. Bank of Japan, negative interest rates, doing QE. China printing like mad. More currency, 60% of the debt in the last 5 years in the world out of China. That's the only reason the dollar is doing well, but because the dollar is in demand, because it is required to pay off debt that is denominated in dollars, that's what gives it its value. Now, it sounds counterintuitive, but that requires people or countries or debtors to have to acquire dollars. Gold, on the other hand, no one has denominated debts in gold. If they did, then you'd be a much greater demand for gold. That's the only reason that that gold and dollar prices is not ahead of the dollar. It's counterintuitive because there's limited amounts of gold and there's seemingly unlimited amounts of dollars. But why is it? And they don't understand this, the pumpers. There's a demand for dollars, whether you agree with it or not. It exists. This is the fact. You have to look at reality. If countries issue dollar-denominated debts, they have a demand for dollars. And when their currency declines, they have to buy dollars, even though their currency, and even though their currency has declined, they still have to buy the dollars. That provides a supply-demand dynamic, which actually makes the dollar short, despite the fact that the underlying fundamentals of the dollar are not good, meaning that there's $1 trillion deficit each year now annually, and there's 21 trillion or 22 or 23 trillion. I know all this. It's not like I don't know the debt situation in the United States. I like when people, because that's all they know, so they try to tell me, oh, you don't understand. There are $23 trillion in debt, and it is unsustainable. I get all that. And I know there's 150 to 200 trillion unfunded liabilities. That's not the point. That is not how the dollar is valued. Because if it was based on whether the currency was sound, meaning what's behind it, the Russian ruble would be the strongest currency on the planet. It's got 20% gold reserves. It only has $450 billion in external debt. It has $495 billion in reserves. You would think that'd be the strongest currency. No, it's not. Why? No one wants the ruble. Doesn't matter. The Kazakhstan tenge, 50% backed by gold in the reserves. No one wants it. So that's the reason that the gold and dollar and euro, they don't trade on the basis of their background fundamentals. I mean, the currencies don't. ECB, euro, and dollar. They trade on the demand for those currencies. It sounds obvious, and people who are not like obsessed with gold and silver, they understand that. That's why they know that gold is worthless. Silver is worthless. Not silver. The dollar is worthless. No, it's not. It has value because it's needed. Now, you may say that need is irrational and it shouldn't exist and people shouldn't want dollars. They should know better. And when the world wakes up, blah, 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 unsustainable. But that's not how the world works. They don't think like that. They continue to issue dollar-denominated debt, and they continue to have need for dollars, and they continue to have need for dollars because they can store them on their balance sheets as reserves, and they continue to have need for dollars because they can spend them anywhere in the world. That is why. And it's easier to spend dollars than it is gold. And people don't like to spend gold because it's too valuable. That's what makes the dollar valuable, is that it's liquid, it's massive, people want it, people need it, and it's easy to spend. No one tells you it that way. Everyone tells you the United States, it is unsustainable. The United States has a debt problem. It has so much debt that they will never pay back the debt, and therefore the dollar is worthless. Send me all those dollars to Smaulgld LLC, P.O. Box 714. Remember, Dover, New Hampshire, 03820. The world does not take your point of view into account when conducting international finance. That was the silver bar again. All right, what else have we here in the comments? Unsubscribe from Smaulgld now, says 143 Drew. All right, let's see. JP Morgan is buying Pokemon cards. I read it on the internet, says Coins A to Z. Yes, they are storing them in undisclosed location. All right. There's gold. There's no gold at Fort Knox. These stories, I mean, they're obvious pumps. They're hoaxes. No different than political hoaxes. And the thing is, I'm not trying to spit in the wind here. I know people love a good hoax. They love a good narrative. We see it. I am unsubscribing from you because I do not want to hear about the facts. I want to hear the gold-silver ratio should be 1-to-1. I'm going back to Big Swear, and I will listen to him instead. Look, have fun. Good for you. All right, what else do we have? What else do we have here? Johnny on the spot, stop buying silver after finding this guy. I'm not telling you not to buy silver, and I'm not telling you to buy silver. I'm trying to explain why these things are. And not no one, you guys obviously want to hear it. That's why you're here. But the people who've bought it, once you buy it, this is the thing. Once you buy into a narrative, you're hooked. And you can't see anything else. You don't want to know anything else. Silver is rarer than gold. It is at the bottom of the triangle, wherever that is. If you have integrity, then you will buy silver. Then it becomes a religion, and it doesn't matter. I will measure my wealth in ounces. Yeah, that's it. Better to be 300 years early than a day late, and you just believe it. I'm stacking the shiny. Yep, nothing's going to change your mind. You have been effectively brought into a mindset. You've swallowed a narrative, hook, line, and sinker, and unfortunately, you need to hear more and more and more of it, and that's why there's a proliferation of channels that all repeat the same stuff. And they go back and they tell each other, yeah, I had a guest on. This guy, Lewis, was saying that, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about because silver is rarer than gold. And the gold-silver ratio is clearly out of whack, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. All right? So why then, if I don't know what I'm talking about, does something like this happen? Well, that is because the market doesn't understand it, because JP Morgan, and because COMEX default, and because silver shortage, and because silver is so useful in our lives, and because nothing. Look at that chart. How can you possibly deny the reality of 10 years of that? Well, it is manipulation, and it is, and one day you'll see, and 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 you'll see. Broken record, if any of you are old enough to know what that is. All right. Goodness gracious. Ron says, what exactly is the unbacked international monetary Ponzi scheme? Do those words actually mean something when you link them all together like that? No, it is this. And then Lewis says that banks are not interested in silver. I never said that. I said they don't buy silver. He says they are interested in keeping the price down because they know storing silver as a store of value would get immediately then blown off the face of the planet. Reason is, silver is the keystone to running the unbacked monetary system. Lewis, you should know this, and he just doesn't get it, shaking my head. Yep, that's analysis. And the thing is, he could string together any words he wants. As long as he's telling this guy doesn't know what he's talking about because he doesn't understand the narrative that silver should be 1-to-1. The gold-silver ratio should be 1-to-1. That's all you need to hear. Once you have people under your spell and believe in a narrative, you just repeat anything. And then you get people like, what was his name? Let's go back to him. He was I like when people think they're harming by unsubscribing. It's free to subscribe. Oops, lost a subscriber that wasn't paying me any money, wasn't sending me any money, wasn't doing anything. I don't even have AdSense on the channel, so it doesn't matter how many views I get. But he's showing me, I am tired of hearing you bang on about the unsustainable gold-silver ratio, says Jansky. As you say, you've been talking about it for years. I am unsubscribing. Yeah, so better to hear for years that the gold-silver ratio is headed lower, should be headed lower, and when you see this chart, you don't see this chart. You see silver is rarer than gold. The gold-silver ratio is out of whack, and it is unsustainable. You should be buying now. Buy 60-to-1. Buy 70-to-1. Buy 80-to-1. Unbelievable. All right, I'm sorry. We got to get back to seriousness here. And back to your questions and comments. But let's see. All right, back it goes. I hear, by the way, there's a rumor out there. Lewis is a shill for the bankers. He is anametal semite. I don't know what that means. His gullible travels. Okay. I hear from our friend Roger. He is preparing another fake Smaulgld mug. Yep, a fake Smaulgld mug. I don't know if you guys remember the last time he even did a video with his fake Smaulgld mug, and he was running around the outback in Australia. I think it was a zoo. I don't think it was the outback. He was feeding small snacks out of his fake Smaulgld mug. I'm not even going to show it to you. I'm just going to show you the real use for Smaulgld mugs. Prepping, period. Mountain House and Smaulgld mugs. I know there's people in the chat. I call them mug stackers. Some of them don't even have mugs. Most of you do. But I don't think so. So get your Smaulgld mug. You can put Mountain House in a mug. Silver stack for life. Smaulgld, you're right, but have some silver when you pick it up on the cheap. There's okay, but you're right there. Yep, silver stacker. Look, I was happy. Today was a good day. You go to the mailbox, you open it up, and you get a package, and it's got a little heft to it. And you're like, what is this? I'm happier, seriously, that someone sent me the equivalent of about $75 worth of silver than if I'd received $75 worth of worthless fiat currency. It was very, very nice. There's something about it. Look at it. Comes in the mail. Listen to it. You can't do that with fiat currency. I'm not against silver. I'm just against these stories about it. Yeah, go bat, says Ann. I have a bag of bat. Anyone know what bat is? Bat is, I think, is the Brave browser. I'll start covering these. And again, I'm not going to pump them. I'm not going to tell you, buy bat. Buy this token, Veritasium, whatever. It's going to change the world, and everyone's going to be using bat. Now, it could go up, it could go down. I don't know. I haven't really researched it. Stellar Luminenzens. EOS. No, EOS is no good because they're not one of the good guys. That's not even analysis. Never mind that. All right, but I will start covering more cryptocurrencies. How could you? You'll lose your integrity. Cryptos are evil. Yeah, I'm not making judgments. To me, look, you want to talk about good and evil. We could talk theology. We could talk religion. We're not going to do it. I am not going to look at gold, silver, cryptocurrencies from a theological basis. I'm not a member of a gold cult, a Bitcoin cult, a silver cult. These are merely assets, and they trade in a financial system. Shill, banker disinformation. Unbelievable. They actually get people to believe that kind of stuff. Okay, Fiona Williams. Silver is at least pumped by amateurs. That's right. It is definitely. In fact, it's pumped by amateurs mostly in the United States. I told you the other day, this is not my telling you, this was in the Silver Institute report. Americans actually buy more investment silver than the Chinese do, not on a per capita basis, but on an actual basis, and China's like 4 times the population. I attribute that to the silver pumper channels. Indians don't even buy that much silver. Oh, but what about all that silver they import? No, that's for jewelry, that's for silverware, that's for industry. Americans are the ones who stack this shiny. That is not true. You're thinking like an American. No, I'm pointing out that Americans are the ones who buy the bulk of investment silver. Gold is more international. All right. Collectible coins. What are we talking about here? Drew, got to have more than one insurance policy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Eric Schneider, the gold pumpers were out in full force before today's crash. You know what else they were doing? They were pumping palladium. Palladium is what is going to happen to gold and silver. Yeah, look what just happened to palladium. Went down like $600 in the last 2 days. All right. John Moore. Uh-oh, I just sent Lewis some Litecoin to his QR code for all his hard work. Really appreciate that, John. John, I hope you've been listening the whole time. I hope you got your money's worth. But I really do appreciate it. But let's see. I'm actually going to check on John's generous donation. I try to return the favor with John. When he sends me, he builds up to a mug. I send him another mug. I think he's working towards a beer stein now. By the way, the beer... I think now you guys have seen the mugs. I'm probably ready to declare a favor, at least myself. I think that the Smaulgld beer stein is classic. It's got a little gold trim on it. It is... I'm going to put this up for... By the way, Johnny is selling these Litecoins. If you got any left, cross pumping now. He sells these Litecoins. You see those? You can go to his site. Maybe, John, you could put a link in the description there. And I think he donates some of that money to the Litecoin Foundation. Johnny's like Johnny Appleseed. I saw a video of him today. He goes all over New Jersey and places. He gets them because he's a payment processor. He knows all that stuff. He gets the merchants to sign up for Bitcoin and Litecoin. It's really a labor of love, I'm sure. I would never do that, but I think it's very, I mean, it's cool if you've got an outgoing personality and you want to help people out and you want to promote your passion. But let me show you the Smaulgld mug because, I mean, the Smaulgld beer stein. I just think that, remember, there's this guy mugs. This is from Rob. He bought one the other day, sent me a picture of it. Smaulgld, this guy mugs. These are all of it. Go to smaulgld.com. You get all your ways to figure out how to buy this stuff. Or you can go to the Smaulgld. All the information's below the BitChute and the YouTube that you're watching to buy your... But I do want to show you, before we call it an evening, the Smaulgld beer stein. I mean, this is one angle of it. I mean, look at that. That is a fine-looking mug. That's 22 ounces, which means you could put 2 European 11-ounce beers in there, like a Pilsner Ukrell or something like that. You got to leave a little room for the head, but here's what they look like. Well, I like this version of it right here. Look at that. And they're often on sale on the Zazzle site. Anyway, also, if you want to help the site out besides buying mugs and becoming a stacker, a Smaulgld mug stacker or a patron or whatever, you can buy your precious metals through the Smaulgld site. We have affiliate links with SD Bullion, Money Metals Exchange, and Golden Eagle Coin. And when you do buy, Smaulgld does get a small commission. I'm not advising you to buy gold or silver. If you're going to do so, you click on the link. You pay no more, no less. You get directly to the site than if you visited it on your own. So those who are interested, please consider buying your gold and silver and helping out Smaulgld. Now, let's see. I'm looking for the Litecoin donation from Johnny Moore. And look at that. He sent me 1/10 of a Litecoin. And that is worth now $6. Now, that's a hefty contribution. I do appreciate it. I am going to show you what it looks like. It's just on the... and I'm letting these ride. This is... I used to accept Bitcoin and Litecoin donations and convert them into dollars. And I got like, I don't know, $75, $80 worth of Bitcoin back in the day when it was, you know, $800, $900. And unfortunately, I converted it. So I didn't get to turn that $80 into like probably $1,200, $1,500. So I got $80. Anyway, here is the Litecoin donation. You could show how easy it is. And John has done it a number of times live. Just holds up his loaf wallet, captures the QR code, and bingo star, you get the donation sent right away. Now, he chose not to send the dollar amount. He was just able to go into his wallet, looks like, and send 0.1 Litecoin. And let's see, where is it? Just want to show you what it comes up as. There it is. And is now on my account. It says pending, but I'm sure it's closed by now. And since 0.1 Litecoin is, looks like $6.03, that means that Litecoin is probably trading at $60.30. There it is. Thank you very much, John Moore, and congratulations on your evangelical activities. Now, it's interesting. I know John. I wouldn't say fairly well. I've interviewed him a couple of times, but we've never met. And he may have zeal for Litecoin, but you won't hear him talking about how, I don't know, in this fantastical way, like Litecoin is going to $6 billion and the world is going to end because Litecoin is going to take over. And no, he talks about Litecoin as being a payment system and that you can save on payment fees if you're a merchant. You don't have to pay Visa 2 or 3%. He talks about how you don't have chargebacks, which are a big. He's not like lost his mind on Litecoin and always talking about Litecoin like it's the second coming or some type of religion that you have to follow. He talks about it from a practical point of view. All right, so much for Litecoin tonight. I think we're about done. Let me just see if there's any other comments or questions, and then we'll let you guys go and do whatever you're going to do tonight. Let's see if we got anything else. Taking a look. Yeah, Ron, you asked a good question. I get the value of the U.S. dollar. But why is the Japanese yen? Same thing. It's a carry trade. It's just they just use it. They don't care. It's like a stable coin, even though the Japanese yen should be even more worthless than the U.S. dollar. But you're right, it's considered a stable currency, a reserve currency, and so on. Absolutely. Silver Stacker for life. Well, yeah, if you need cash to buy food, you're right. Smaulgld, I was just trying to say you are talky. Scenes. Oh, talking sense. Yes, yes. That's what I'm here for. Not here to pump anything. Here to collect Litecoin donations from John Moore. That's why I spend an hour to get $6. That's what I'm here for. Lewis is a shill for the bankers. This is gullible travels. I don't know if he's kidding or not, but you never know. Some of these people actually believe this stuff. Yep, no, he doesn't believe it. Hey, Lewis, we're all just playing with you. We need help with a balanced perspective. Hey, Lewis, which would you rather have? An ether destination or some worthless Japanese fiat? I'd take an ether destination donation. I actually have an ether address too. But okay, so John put down check out nationwide thermal. It's not showing, but I will show it now, and there it is. John puts check out nationwide thermal. Is that where you get the coins from? Yep. Gullible Travels says at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're all dead as they murder us all. Just enjoying, don't worry. Coins AZ says platinum is historically priced low compared to gold. Oh, I see. So John says use code Litecoin VIP07 for a 7% discount. Now you might, let me just reproduce his link here for him. I don't get paid for this. Well, I guess I just did, but that was why he sent me the $6 to promote his link. But I do this as a favor. $6 a Litecoin is not a it's not, you know, some of these channels take, I didn't want to talk about it. They have guests on there. You think that they're there because they've got good views. They're paid to be on there. And they're also, these coins that they pump, they're paid to pump these coins. So, but they're good guys and they're helping you out. And yeah, I like him and he likes me and he's like me and he's setting me right. Generally, no. They're setting themselves right. You know what? I don't have any ads on this channel. I get the donations. And I don't make, frankly, I don't make any money doing this either. It'd be nice to make some money doing this because they say you should try to make money doing what you like, doing what you love. But so I'm enjoying this, but I'm not making money doing this after I pay to have. I just paid today more storage fee on my GoDaddy account, $72. And then the hosting fees. No, I don't make any money. But I have a good time, and I am appreciative of the money that I do get. Silverstack for life, thanks for your info. I'm saying you are a pumper. No, you are not a pumper. I was just saying you're right about the dollar, silver, and gold. Yep. Okay, a little ETH coming today. That's what she said. Well, that's very kind. Do you have my... do I have the ETH address below? I think I have it in the... Let me see. I don't put it on the screen. Most people don't trade. Yeah, I have the Ethereum. There's an Ethereum address there at the bottom. Thank you, Ron. Yes. Smaulgld Stacker for life says, Smaulgld, I was not saying you were a pumper. I was agreeing with you. Have a great day. Thank you for a great stream. All right, everyone. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, John Moore, for the Litecoin donation. And if you're interested in those coins, he has a coupon code in nationwidethermal.com, and check that out. But more importantly, check out John's what is it, Twitter. I think it's, I don't even know what it is. I think it's at John Moore at on Twitter. Anyway, you guys should also check me out on Twitter at Smaulgld, and I follow back all of my Smaulgld mug stackers. So we'll see you there. And tomorrow we'll cover the news. We missed out on a lot of the news, and we'll get to that tomorrow. Thank you very much. And if I don't hear from you in 10 seconds, I'm signing off. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Buonanotte.